In fact, one of the things that I discovered very much when I joined the Bishops' Conference, that actually bishops are far more in tune with the reality that's out there than what some people might think.
Hello and welcome to The Way. I'm Wendy Grace. Well, one of the reasons we're actually here today on this platform is because we have been supported by the Irish Bishops' Conference. Now, you might have heard of a Accord or a Trócaire. Of course, you're watching us here now. These are all basically organisations that are supported by the Bishops' Conference. But what is the conference? What do they do and how does it all work? Well, joined with me in studio to talk about it, I have Bishop Paul Dempsey, who is, of course, a member of the Bishops' Conference. Okay, so what is it? Because for most people watching, they say that sounds like a very kind of clergy, churchy thing. What's it got to do with me? What do you do? Tell us about it, Paul.
Yeah, it's a very good question. I was working in parish up to 5 years ago, Wendy, when I got a call from the nunciature about my appointment as a bishop. And, working away in parish, immersed in pastoral life of parish, which I loved and miss very much, you just kind of get on with things. Then when I was appointed bishop, I became a member of the Bishops' Conference. And like you're asking, like I was even asking myself, what's all that about? So I became aware actually when I joined the Bishops' Conference of the huge amount of work that goes on as part of the Bishops' Conference. Even though, as you say, sometimes it might be seen as something locked away in minutes or something distant from the reality of day-to-day life in parish. But what I found was I was pleasantly surprised. It's made up of 5 commissions working in various areas of diocesan life and church life. They're broken down into councils. So, like you're saying, they're the Council of Communications. So the Irish bishops would be supporting the likes of the Way, and the idea behind that is that we as a church have a mission, we have a message, we want to get that out there. So how can we support that? And the likes of the Way and what we're doing here today is part of that mission of the Irish Church, and that will be supported by the bishops. The same with Accord. That would be an agency of the Irish Bishops' Conference. That supports families and obviously people in marriage, in preparing people for marriage, but also supporting those maybe that are having difficulties in relationship in marriage as well. So again, the Bishops' Conference will be supporting that. Trócaire would be another agency of the Irish Bishops' Conference. Again, it's the whole social justice side of the church, and that was founded by the bishops, and the bishops will be supporting that kind of work. What I think is very important to say as well, Wendy, that the Bishops' Conference, even though it's called the Bishops' Conference, is far wider than the bishops. Like I've worked in various commissions and councils, but I don't only work with bishops. I work with people, men and women, as part of the various makeup of those groups and so on. So it's a far wider thing
Yeah,
than just
there's a lot of
yeah,
different people from different
very much. And they
organizations.
bring their wisdom, their experience to the Bishops' Conference. Now, there are 4 meetings, kind of official meetings of the Bishops' Conference every year, where we gather in Maynooth and we reflect upon the various big issues that are going on in the Irish Church today, such as things like maybe the Synod, as I say, youth ministry, Trócaire, Accord, all of those things we were talking about. Overall, we reflect upon where things are at and maybe where we need to give more support, or maybe new initiatives that we need to start off. So that's kind of the idea behind the Bishops'
It's
Conference.
probably a nice opportunity as well, I'd say, Paul, to meet other bishops and hear what's working in your diocese, what's not working, how can we support one another in our mission?
Yeah, very much. It's like with anybody involved in any area of ministry, it's nice to meet other people who have that experience, and there is that sense of friendship there as well, and support. So that's something that's kind of a spin-off from the Bishops' Conference as well. And again, it's not just bishops, but meeting other people who are, I suppose, engaged with the church and have a great energy around the life of the church. That we're not alone in this, that we're all in this together, and that we have a mission as church. So that's all part of the life of the Bishops' Conference that I find very enriching and very helpful in my own ministry and life as a bishop.
It's interesting, just finally wanted to ask you, because you mentioned earlier you miss the kind of parish life, the more pastoral involvement with now your work as a bishop, which is in many ways, I'm sure, similar, but also different. What do you say then to people when they hear something like the Bishops' Conference and they might have the wrong idea of, oh, is that clericalism again? Or are we moving in the right direction of kind of journeying together as a people of God?
Yeah, well, I'd come back to the point that the Bishops' Conference is bigger than bishops. You know what I mean? That is a lot of people involved in the Bishops' Conference that bring, as I say, their wisdom and experience to the whole mission of the Church in Ireland today. Um, but also, when we talk about Bishops' Conference, again, we kind of can see it as an entity out there somewhere. Bishops are human beings. You know what I mean? And in fairness, the Bishops' Conference, the face of the Bishops' Conference has changed quite a bit in the last maybe decade or so. Pope Francis, I think his emphasis around appointing bishops was very much appointing bishops who came from maybe a pastoral background.
Yeah,
Remember, it
case
says
in point, yeah.
an example of that, and a number of other bishops are the same. I worked as 23 years in parish, which I loved. And journeying with people. I was parish priest in Newbridge in County Kildare. There was a parish team of 11 there that I worked with, men and women, religious, lay, on that team. So in a sense, I bring that experience and the experience of parish life, pastoral life, the funerals, the weddings, the schools, the sacraments, all of that. I bring that experience with me to the Bishops' Conference. So it's not something that's disconnected with the reality of pastoral life or parish life. It's very much immersed in that. And in fact, one of the things that I discovered very much when I joined the Bishops' Conference, that actually bishops are far more in tune with the reality that's out there than what some people might think. Some people, as they might think that bishops are protected a lot from stuff or are distant from maybe the realities out there. Far from it. We're very much aware of the struggles that maybe priests are going through. We're priests ourselves. So we would be very much aware of those struggles and challenges and the lovely privileges that we have as priests to enter into the lives of people, the reality of lives of people, in the good times, the lovely times in life, but also the tragic and sad moments as well. So, that's all that I can bring to the Bishops' Conference as well. So sometimes when we're sitting around the table and we're talking about some things in relation to ministry and so on, we always have to ground it in the reality of people's lives and what's happening in parish life throughout the country.
Well, Bishop Paul, it's been great to have you with us on the way today and just to hear about some of the work that you have been doing and indeed the work of the Bishops' Conference. And thank you, as always, for being with us. And if you want to find out more about what we've been chatting about today, you can go to catholicbishops.ie.